Hello everyone, my name is Christian, welcome to my hobby blog. Today we are going to do a book review. So I don't do this often, as I have said over and over, mostly during live streams. I have been completely demotivated from reading after finishing The Wheel of Time. That was such a heavy post-book depression that I haven't really been reading much, but this series here is one that I have been really wanting to read for a while now, ever since I watched season 1 of the TV show adaptation. And this is The Expanse. This is book 1, Leviathan Wakes, by James S.A. Carey, or Corey. It's actually two authors, one of which is Daniel Abraham, I believe, and then the other one is Ty Frank. Both of whom are, I guess, assistants of George R. R. Martin, which I completely forgot about until I got to the end. And it had Meet the Author on the back. And I was like, oh yeah, like I remember a lot of people way back in 2017, 2018 when the A Song of Ice and Fire community was especially kind of losing hope. I've had no hope for a very long time about the book series, but they have always been kind of the first choices for people when it comes to finishing The Winds of Winter and then A Dream of Spring, the two unreleased A Song of Ice and Fire books, which, if you don't know, Game of Thrones, the TV show, is based off of. But enough of that. This book, I just want to go ahead and say I read it and got kind of very motivated to read it because my dear friends over at There Is No Book Club, which I'll leave a link to the YouTube channel and to the, I guess, link tree, I think is what the term is. But I'll leave a link to all of them. But There Is No Book Club is hosted by Tracy and Amber from the Road to Talbalan podcast, which I love a lot. I love the dynamic. They're very funny, very well informed about Wheel of Time. They were kind of the ones who helped me get past my, I guess, post-book depression by the episodes all about, the Forsaken. I especially love the episode all about Mistress Laris, who works in the kitchens of Tarvalin and the White Tower. And they're just totally amazing. And they have a side, I guess, project called the There Is No Book Club. Book Club. And so what they do is that the main kind of skeleton of the podcast and book club is the Expanse series, because Amber has read it. I'm unsure if Tracy has read it all. I think she's seen the show, but I have been meaning to read this for many years, and it just finished up. I think this year, maybe in April, May, because they've been doing a reread of all the books, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my time. So I actually found the book for somewhat pretty cheap for $12.50, and on the back it says it's $18 usually, so okay, 30% off. But I have seen season 1 of The Expanse. I'll go ahead and say I knew a lot of what was going to happen, and I am not going to go into spoilers yet, but I really liked the show for the most part. I did not really like the character of Holden really at all, and all my love for the show was for Thomas Jane's character, Detective Miller. I'm trying to remember all these things before I go into the review, but I really liked season 1. I finished it. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't remember how it ended, season 1. And I'll talk about that more when I go into the book. But I began season 2, and I watched about half the episode, and I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to go read the books, because I could tell that I had enough foundation for the books because I'm really bad at trying to remember what names of characters there are, my headcanon of what they look like. I always just throw on a celebrity's face when I read books. So, with that said, the first thing I'm going to do before I really go into the book is I'm going to read the back that has the pitch, I guess, because this is what I've been doing a lot with my movie reviews is that I don't want to recount the plot from memory anymore. I'm going to just read it how the publisher is pitching it. It always sounds a lot more exciting than me trying to figure it out. Especially with books, for me, I have a really hard time thinking of the plot because I just end up recounting the story. And that's not how I want to pitch a book. So, without further ado, welcome to the future. Humanity has colonized the solar system, Mars, the moon, the asteroid belt, and beyond, but the stars are still out of our reach. Jim Holden is XO of an ice miner making runs from the rings of Saturn to the mining stations of the belt. When he and his crew stumble upon a derelict ship, the Scopuli, they find themselves in possession of a secret they never wanted. A secret that someone is willing to kill for, and to kill on a scale unfathomable, that word is hard, unfathomable to Jim and his crew. War is brewing in the system unless he can find out who left the ship and why. Detective Miller, who is played by Thomas Jane, who I love with all my heart. He is amazing in everything he touches, especially The Mist, another great sci-fi story. Detective Miller is looking for a girl. One girl in a system of billions, but her parents have money and money talks. When the trail leads him to the Scopuli and rebel sympathizer Holden, he realizes that this girl may be the key to everything. Holden and Miller must thread the needle between the Earth government, the outer planet revolutionaries, and secretive corporations, and the odds are against them. But out in the belt, the rules are different, and one small ship can change the fate of the universe. Oh my god. Okay, so that's basically all you need to know to go into this book. I really enjoyed the story, and this was kind of my issue with the first half of the book. And it's not even an issue, it just shows how great the show is, which is that it is exactly the same in terms of the story of the TV show. I really enjoyed the show. What the book does better, in my opinion, is that it goes into the characters' thoughts and personalities and beliefs a whole lot more than the show, which makes sense because of the medium. Books allow you to go into the brains and the minds of all the different characters. And that was definitely my favorite thing. One of my big issues with the show is that Holden is very complaining and very hard to get along with in regards to everyone outside of his crew. With Naomi, who is the best person ever. I love Naomi. And they really nailed the casting, in my opinion, on the show. And Naomi and James Miller, or Joe Miller, Josephi, I think his name is, Detective Miller was also perfectly cast. I just saw Thomas Jane's face the entire time reading it. But Holden's crew is absolutely wonderful to hang out with. This is my type of reading, in my opinion, which is just hanging out with other characters and having dialogue. And Amos is absolutely wonderful. He is a potty mouth. He curses like a sailor. He's an amazing mechanic. He is able to compartmentalize a lot of the tragedy and I guess genocide that they witness throughout this story. And there's so many events in this book that turn your stomach. there were many portions of this book where I was reading it and I was like, did this happen on the show? And I'm like, wait, yeah, it happened. Except you weren't processing the events. Because on TV, when you're watching it, on the show, my mind was, oh no, that's so bad. Oh, that's awful. But I had no emotional investment into what was going on with the show. And for the books, I am seeing it through the eyes of Holden and Miller. And Miller is very washed up. I don't like to speak ill of him, but he is a washed up cop. He is just an alcoholic, down on his luck. He is tasked with finding Julia Mao. And this is kind of his chance of redemption, according to him. And watching him being beat down by everybody, being fired from his job, and seeing where his journey takes him from there is a whole lot of fun. It's not fun for Miller. It's not fun for anyone who has to deal with him and his snark. And this is something that I also can't remember from the show, is the character of Havelock. Havelock is our fun belter sidekick of Miller, and it doesn't really cover it in the pitch on the back, but the belters are those who grew up on the asteroid belt. They are not Earthers, I guess is what the term is in the books. Belters lived in a low gravity environment. So on the show, and this is what I loved about the show, is that you could see kind of the differences between the Belters and the Earthers, and that the Belters had more elongated skeletons and bodies because they don't have gravity. And so the bodies stretch out and they're able to really navigate low gravity environments compared to Holden and Miller, because both of them are Earthers. They grew up on Earth. And Holden has a couple memories that he thinks back to where he is on Earth. And he remembers like dozens of billions of people living on Earth, how there was like no such thing as plants unless it was manufacturally or artificially manufactured. And because there's a part where they meet the Butcher of Anderson Station, who has a pretty big scene in the very first episode, from what I remember. Because this is what roused my interest in the show, was this character of oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. The Butcher of Anderson, I'll just call him that. He is a general of one of the navies, from what I remember, and there's a organization called the OPA, which is the Outer Planets Alliance, I believe, maybe Allegiance, and he is now a rogue because people view him as a crazy genocidal maniac, and we hear all these stories about him throughout this book until we meet him. And in the TV show, we meet him in the very first episode, which I really enjoyed. And I remember while reading this book, I was looking, and we didn't really have an experience or even a scene with Fred, which I just looked. His name is Fred. And this was something I liked more in the show, was his handling. We have an amazing woman character on Earth that we didn't get this book. I assume she is coming to book 2, which I have right here, ready to read. I'm really excited, called Caliban's War. But this woman, politician, I believe, I can't remember her name, but the actress that she plays has been a fan cast by everybody in the Wheel of Time community for the character of Cadswain. And I can't really speak more about that, but I think she would be perfect for that character, even though I will grow to hate her. because Cad Swain is not a favorite character of mine at all, as much of a badass as she is. She messes with Daddy Tam a little too much. But trying to think what else. Where to transition to next. I really enjoyed the world building a lot more in the books, of course, because there's a lot more room to really go into detail about all of these different organizations, what they view of each other. We get a really fun kind of zombie infection plot that I honestly don't really remember anything about in the TV show. There's a part in about, I think, halfway through the season where our characters stumble upon this grotesque, disgusting genocide science experiment, is really the non-spoiler way to describe it. And they encounter these zombies. I remember everything about the inciting event of this plot, but I don't remember anything after that. And everything about the ending, I was going to have a spoiler section, but I don't think I will. I will speak around it, so people who want to hear about the book and know more about it and my thoughts on it can watch the whole thing. But the ending, I don't remember anything about. I remember Miller's part of it, but like that was it. I want to watch the show again, but I'm going to wait until I finish the books first. And I am really excited to revisit it because I have forgotten so much. And this was definitely a situation where when I was reading the book, I was remembering more of the show, and my brain was going, wait, wasn't there an event with this or this? And then 2 chapters later, there it was, because the show followed the book so closely. And from what I've heard, the TV show went on for 6 seasons, I believe, and there are 9 books. And I have heard that it ends with book 6, and that there are 3 other books, books 7, 8, and 9. And I have no idea what prompted them to finish at book 6. And I have no idea what goes even beyond that. I have no idea where the future is going for this series. I watched the first half of episode 1 of season 2 like 3 or 4 years ago when Amazon was now in charge of the IP. And I was really excited. And I was like, oh boy, I can't wait to catch up on this awesome sci-fi show everyone talks about. And I just never watched it. And I do regret not watching it. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy I didn't. Because watching season 1 gave me a really great foundation. I'm trying to think anything else I want to talk about. The world building is wonderful. I love all the characters. Havelock, I don't remember anything about in the TV show. He is wonderful in this book. I'm trying to think anything else I want to discuss. I really enjoyed the really technical, scientific parts of this series where it really goes into the effects of space travel on the human body. And we get entire paragraphs where we see Holden experiencing the stress of accelerating from 1G to 2Gs of gravity and, accelerating the spaceship. And I really enjoyed that because I don't read really any sci-fi. I have read Dune. I have read Skyward. That's the only sci-fi I've ever read. And Dune doesn't really go into mechanics really at all outside of the ecology of the planet of Arrakis. And that's about it in terms of the scientific, space mechanics and physics and all that. Skyward, of course, is a YA novel by Brandon Sanderson that does not even touch the hard physics of space travel. Amazing book. I just bought book 2 recently because I've been on a sci-fi motivation train, I guess. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I am very excited to continue on with this series. I have no idea where it goes from here. We have reached my knowledge of the show, and now we are just in uncharted territory. And I'll just go ahead and say I don't think I will be doing any other reviews on the Expanse books because I will be doing discussions with There Is No Book Club, which again I'll leave a link to on the description. But in about 2 weeks, I think, maybe a week and a half, they are doing a live stream all about book 2, which you can watch on YouTube, which I will try to post in my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on there, go find me. It's the same username as I use on here. I just recently did an episode with them all about the Poppy War, which is a really beautiful, depressing, terrifying, amazing fantasy story that takes a lot from World War II events from the Japanese and Chinese side of the conflict. And I can't really speak too long about it. If you want to watch the review, it's a spoiler review, but if you want to watch the review that I took part in and the discussion, I will also leave that link to that so that I can share with you guys what I thought about the books, or the book. And it was wonderful. It was so great to finally sit down and talk with Amber and Tracy. It was just the 3 of us, so I really got to, I guess, really interact with them, and more than I thought. I was very nervous when I first joined, but they were very welcoming and very nice, so I was really happy to be there. I'm excited to join them again for book 2 of The Expanse, and I hope you guys chime in, or not chime in, but log in and watch for that. So I'm out of breath right now, and I'm hungry, and I'm cold, and I'm ready for dinner. So that is all for now. Thank you all for watching. I'll leave the links shortly. Thank you so much.